Alright, I'm going to slowly get back to this x748 that I was taking apart before I hurt my toe. I still can't really get down on the floor all that easy, so this will kind of be a slow process over probably a couple months or anything, or something like that. So today what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to try to remove the radiator, keeping in mind I have never removed a radiator from x748 before. The first thing I'm going to do is remove the overflow reservoir. That is simply, or what I believe, based on this little tab right here, is I should be able to pick up just like that. There may be a bolt right there and there, so or a screw. Yeah, it's a Phillips screw right there. I'll also go ahead and take this clamp off right here, and I will remove the overflow. At the same time, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead, and I think the whole thing will tilt forward if I undo these screws right here. So I'll go ahead and do those. I'm going to see if I can tilt the whole thing forward so I can actually get to that screw a little bit better. That will then, I think, allow me to get to the instrument cluster. The instrument cluster does work. I can't remember if I showed that in a video. I don't have the battery hooked up anymore. I did hook the battery up to it. This machine does have less than 200 hours on it. Obviously it sat outside for a little bit based on just some of what it looks like. So just the sun and everything. So I'm going to work on getting this radiator out. There's a couple things, getting over on the other side. My truck is parked right there, so I'll have to get over here and undo a lot of this hardware over here. But I don't think it'll be that hard. Whenever I get to a point that I think I need to film, I will come back and film. Well, this is good news. Taking the radiator out of x748 is incredibly easy. So what I did was, just like I said, the four screws that were holding this panel on right there, or the 4 bolts that were holding that panel on right there, which are 10mm bolts, these right here, I took those off, and then I took the 4 screws, the little star head, I think these are T25s. I took those off. One thing I did want to mention is over Christmas, Sears had this socket wrench set, 42-piece socket wrench set on sale. Normally it's like $100, and I don't know why. But I picked it up on sale. I even think on Black Friday online for I think $29.99, something like that. And it has been a very nice set so far. Allen wrenches, all socket ready. So if you have any square plug stuff like that, or not square plugs, but any of the E type fixtures, they're there, or hardware. This is the T25 setup I just had, so it's a 1/4 inch drive, and it comes with a 3/8 1/4 inch adapter. The full kit looks just like this right here. Yeah, for $30, it's actually not bad at all. I'm pretty happy with it. But anyway, then all I did was actually just pull, and the radiator came out. So that's certainly encouraging. That leaves the oil cooler that I'll have to get out, which I will do that here in the near future, and also it will, and I'll start working on getting everything out of the dash and whatnot. But yeah, that's actually really super easy. Not hard at all. A lot easier than some of the other machines that have had radiators in. Particularly, I had a 320 a long time ago that I had to replace the radiator on. But yeah, pretty happy about that. And it looks like this actually comes out pretty easy based on that spring right there. There's no bolt holding it in. Let's see if I can actually figure that out in this video. Bet you if you just take and you push that in and you squeeze those tabs down, that will fall right out. And then you have the last thing you need to do is, I suppose this is bolted on. No, it's not bolted on. So what you can do to get to the instrument cluster is you'll take this hardware out right here, and hopefully this folds forward, or at least that's what I'm hoping. One of the things that I'm trying to show in this video is you obviously see I have no manual out. I actually have an x748 technical manual. I have never looked at it because it's on a CD. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying not to look at it for taking this stuff apart, because if you have an x748 or any X series, you're perfectly capable of working on them by yourself. You don't necessarily need to take them to a dealer unless you just don't have time. So you know, don't be afraid to do things yourself, like replace a radiator or something like that. Really not all that big a deal to do things like that. It's a little daunting at first, but you can do it. So I'm going to work on getting this oil cooler free, and I'll go ahead and see what else I can get to today. I don't have a lot much time, and we'll go from there. Alright, up next is the instrument panel, or the gauge cluster, whatever you want to call it. So the only thing that holds the instrument cluster in, now that we have access to it, is two 10mm bolts. I'm going to take those two 10mm bolts out, and what's going to happen is this black piece right here, you can kind of see how it's separate. That's where your hand goes to pull the hood up. Once I take those out, it will fall out, and so I'm just going to go ahead and do this on camera. I think I can do it relatively quickly. And remember, because you're working with plastic, you don't want to, because you're working with plastic, you don't want to use an impact driver or anything like that. You want to use things you can feel, because the last thing you want to do is crack the plastic, right? Okay, so now that is free. Up here, oh, there goes the black plastic piece, like I said. So it fell out. That's the piece I was talking about. And what happens is there's two little clips right here on the ends, and basically what will happen is they slide on. Let me see if I can see it up there. And once you get this up there, these will slide in there like that. See how that works? And so basically it's kind of a retainer for the instrument cluster. Once you pull it out, you don't need it anymore. Now obviously we still have these wires right here that I'm going to unhook here in just a second, as soon as I get it out and where I can see it. Also at the same time, it appears as though I think this right here will come loose. I think so. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can take that out. And I don't think it's welded in there or anything. I'm going to go ahead and take that out so I have better access to this up here. So, and I think what we'll do is I'll stop for the day once I get the instrument cluster taken apart. Alright, so got the radiator out and have the instrument cluster out. Like I said, the instrument cluster is just these three parts of the wiring harness here. They're just little clips that you have to squeeze together. So I mean the instrument cluster is that's the primary part of the electrical system. Also, like I said, like I suspected, he pulled those two bolts out, and here's that frame that was in there. That is actually the frame for the radiator. So yeah, aside from that, you know, we will keep on carrying on here, and this is probably the last thing I'll do today. And I'll come back and we'll move forward another day, and we'll just kind of keep picking at it over time, and we'll get it taken apart. Thank you very much for watching.